was in charge of the jelly eating competition, which is going to be in the Olympics. It's a serious sport, okay? It's serious, it's really serious. Like, I'm an athlete, guys. I've trained for this so hard, okay? And the point is that you have your jelly, you have to eat it as quickly as possible without using your hands or knives and forks. You sort of have to just slurp it up with your face. The parents don't like this too much, but the children love it. Now we had these children come along and this family, they were a very middle class family, even more middle class than me. I know, is it even possible? And they had a 7-year-old called Tabitha. And they entered Tabitha for this competition. And Tabitha's there, and we start the competition, the jelly eating, and halfway through, Tabitha's had enough. And she goes, "No more jelly, Mama, no more jelly." Because that's how all middle class children in Surrey cry, all of them. The jelly's not organic. I'm a vegan, Mama, stop it. So she's there, and the parents are like, "Come on, Tabitha, the glory of your family is at stake." I'm like, "She's 7. This is a lot of pressure." But she carries on, and they take her paper plate, just filled with jelly, and they make it folded into a little funnel, and they just pour the contents into Tabitha's open, crying mouth. So it sounds a bit like, "No more jelly, Mama, no more." And at this point, I'm stressed, because technically this goes against the jelly eating guidelines. The children should really eat the jelly themselves. Like, I shouldn't, the parents getting involved, that's not okay. Also, I'm so concerned, she could have choked. And that's a lot of paperwork, I don't have to do that. But the crowd love it, the crowd are loving it so much, they just go, "Jelly, jelly, jelly." And I'm like, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? And at the last possible moment, Tabitha eats that last bit of jelly, and the honour of her family is intact. And she goes home with a very well-earned lollipop. Her parents, on the other hand, I had to disqualify because of suspicious jelly-eating activity. So that's going to be a trouble for them next time they try and get DBS checked. But I also did this other thing as a children entertainer, because I know that any parents in the room, okay, you love to give your children these really awful, gross, disgusting things called birthday parties. And it's where some pretty middle class parents will sit around and chat with their Prosecco in little canapes. And they will let their 40 sugar-infused children loose on some poor entertainer who's supposed to be looking after them for 2 hours. We do all sorts of fun things, don't we? We do, games. We do, "Please don't try and take down all of my toys. Please, thank you, get off the stage now, Yeah, it's great fun, And we also do balloon modelling. So someone just shout out a balloon model for me. Any animals, anyone? Any favourite animals?
A dog.
Oh, thank you so much. Classic, a dog. So, he said what I could do as well. Oh, this is amazing.
Yay.
Here we go. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh. There you go, it's a dog. There we go.
Yay.
Pass that down. There we go. And that was great. What are we going to call the dog? We need a name. What's the dog's name?
Fido.
Who?
Fido.
Fido the dog. Okay, great, brilliant. Wasn't the name I was expecting, but great. And it was great. And I had this little boy come up to me, and he was like, "Could I have a balloon sword, please?" And I was like, "Okay, of course I can make you a balloon sword." So I went like this. Oh, I've done this wrong. Wait, balloon sword, Marina, not a dog. Do it again. I'm a professional. Make something and it looks a bit like this. And it's a balloon sword. Don't know what people are laughing at that, it's a sword. It's a bit weird, you're all laughing at that, it's a sword. Okay, weird. And I gave it to a little boy, I said, "There you go, here's your balloon sword." He did the one thing with the balloon sword you're not really supposed to do? And he slowly started to turn it upside down. And in front of all of the parents, standing right next to me, so it's obvious I've given it to him, he just puts it in front of his crotch and goes, "The lady's given me a willy! Yay!" He's running around going, "Whoa, this is so much fun!" I'm going, "No, please stop." And I know I have one of three options. I could just, wait for the ground to just sink, just go into the ground, just sink into the ground. No, don't exist anymore. Or I could run after him, no, give it back. And he could go, "The lady's touching my willy." It's not a good look at a children's party, is it really? Or ever, really? Or I could do the only sensible thing, and I could just sort of go over to the middle class parents, and I could just drink Prosecco instead. So that's what I did, and that's how I got fired from that job. I didn't sort anyone, yay! Just gonna throw that awkward floating balloon thing. Yeah, that was that. So I was a bit traumatised after that experience, and then we went into what do we do next? Ah, yes, okay, great. We went into lockdown, and that was a weird experience, wasn't it? Lockdown. I got quite lonely. But speaking of children, my parents decided to adopt a 4-year-old. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I wanted a dog. It was weird when you first meet your new younger brother. You're not usually formally introduced to your family members, but when you're adopted, you kind of have to be. And so my little brother called Jack, he's 4, he's lovely, but he entered the house for the first time. I had to introduce myself to him as his older sister. And the first thing he said is he looked at a picture of my grandma on the wall, and he turned around to my mum and just went, "Why did your mum die?" It's true. And we were like, how would you say to that? And before we could really react, he just ran around going, "Grandma's dead! Grandma's dead! Grandma's dead!" What have we done? Oh my gosh. Having a 4-year-old in the house is a bit weird when you're quite a lot older. Things become a bit of a health and safety hazard. Things you don't think should be things are things, like just walking up the stairs, quite a normal activity. And I just hear this voice from the top of the stairs just going, "No, no, no." And I look up just in time to see some very heavy, soggy looking wee pants that are just hurtling towards my face.
Oh.
And I'm just going, "No." Miss me by this much. And then my little brother decides to just laugh at me. He thinks it's funny. And the worst part of this is I can't ever be angry at him because he is adopted. So unfortunate. So unfortunate. But sometimes I am the responsible adult, apparently, and I have to take him for a walk, but we don't just walk anywhere, do we? No, we do. We stomp like a dinosaur. Woo! Or we do the wobble dance. Or we take our pants off and we on a public footpath. But even at home, there is actually a toilet available for such use. It doesn't get used. It's like, come on, let's go use the toilet. No, I don't want to use it. Okay. And I had to say something I didn't really think I'd ever have to say. I said, "Come on, let's go and do a wee race. I'll race you to the toilet. Who can wee fastest?" I had to act excited about this. And the worst part of it all is he then won the wee race. So I've just been beaten at my own game. It's not acceptable. And it was very bad. But even when I go to the loo by myself, I still don't get a moment's peace of just sitting there doing, going to the loo, and I just hear this voice from the other side of the door just going, "Marina, would you like a biscuit?" Okay. When I'm off the toilet, I have a biscuit, all right. I just looked down and I just see a chocolate digestive just been slid underneath the door. And I looked at it and I thought, I know this isn't a hygienic, but I'm really hungry.